The big test day is right around the corner, and if you are feeling a mixture of excitement, nerves, and a little bit of what was I thinking, you've come to the right place. I've got the ultimate last-minute tips to help you walk into the room on test day feeling calm, confident, and ready to conquer the test. So grab a pen, take some notes, and make these next 10 minutes or so the most productive all week. First, before I get into these tips, this video is brought to you by Preply, the best digital SAT daily practice app available in the App Store and in Google Play. Is your phone basically an extension of your body? Do you have a very busy schedule and can only squeeze in 10 to 15 minutes of daily practice for the SAT? Do you need some extra practice questions because you basically run out of everything College Board has to offer? Preply is going to be the perfect SAT study app for you. So go ahead and click the link up here, download it today, and get that last minute SAT prep in. All right, tip number 1 is an execution strategy. And I'll tell you, I used this on the November test and it worked wonders for me. I want you guys to start at number 27 and work backwards. At the very least, just try this out on a practice and see how it works for you before you go into the test. Here's what I like about starting at the end and hitting the back button all the way to the beginning. The note-taking questions are the easiest questions to do on the entire module. So you're basically re-engineering the English modules to be like the math modules, because when you're on a math module, it starts out easy and it gets harder. The last thing I personally want to do is start with vocabulary questions when my success rate is the lowest on those. I always encounter at least one question where I don't know 2 of the words and it knocks the wind out of my sails and I'm left deliberating and already feeling terribly that I don't know the answer to one of the questions so early on. So start at the end, work to the beginning, and when you encounter any difficult reading passages along the way that seem like they're going to be really time consuming, just skip those and flag those till the end. All right, speaking of vocabulary, tip number 2 is to play positive, negative with the vocab. So if you do run into a vocab question where you don't know the answer and you don't know a couple of the words, don't panic. A lot of the times you can play positive, negative. So typically what I'll notice is 3 answers sound positive and only 1 sounds negative. And the text is negative where I know I need a negative word. So I'm still able to pick the right word just going off of intuition and how they sound without actually knowing what they mean. All right, if you're finding this video helpful so far and you haven't yet, make sure you smash the subscribe button and notification bell below so you don't miss out on future content from me to help you master the SAT. All right, tip number 3, I want you to use all of your extra time on the test. Guys, you have so much time on the module 1s, you could basically knit a scarf before time runs out. So that being said, I don't want you twiddling your thumbs and just watching the clock tick down. Be productive with your extra time. Go back, redo every single problem that you can to check your work. Because I promise you, you're going to make at least one careless mistake on module 1s. It's inevitable. All right, tip number 4, write out all your work for the math. I have seen this too many times with my students who try to flex and do all the work in their head. You're bound to make a careless mistake doing that. So just, humble yourself, get the scrap paper out. If you're doing an algebra problem, show your steps on both sides of the equation. Subtract 5, or divide by 3, divide by 3. I promise you that'll mitigate those careless mistakes and ensure you get the question right. If these tips are helpful to you, make sure you show me some love, hit the like button below. All right, tip number 5 is a reading tip. When you're on an SAT reading passage, I want you to refrain from trying to find the right answer right away. The goal really is to find 3 wrong answers instead of 1 right answer. When you do this, you will mitigate your chance of picking a trap answer, and there's trap answers all throughout this test.
It's a trap!
So some common trap answers are like half right, all wrong. So read each answer choice and think critically about it, because maybe the first half of it is correct to the text, but the second half will be completely inaccurate. Also, look out for adverbs of degree. Those are ly words like significantly, partly, largely. Those words can make or break an answer choice. They're very small words, but they pack a powerful punch. So if you can play a detective, go through each one, try to find something wrong with it, you are more apt to get it down to the right answer. All right, tip number 6, if you're running out of time and you have to guess, let's say you have just a minute to go and you have like 6 or 7 questions. Do not click D too quickly. I've recommended in other videos to stick with the same letter. I call it pick and stick or Christmas tree. But essentially, the strategy is you pick the same letter all the way down because theoretically, 1 or 2 of them will be that letter, and then you'll ensure that you get some extra points. The problem is the way this adaptive test is designed. If you click on answers too quickly, it recognizes that you are randomly guessing, and it will not give you credit for those questions. I know this because I actually ran trials on the bluebook practice test, and I ran one trial where I picked a D for every single answer, and I ended up still only scoring the minimum score of 200, which is basically the score you get when you put your name on the test. Why didn't I get any extra points even though theoretically some of those answer choices should have been D? It's because I was clicking them too quickly. So make sure if you need to enter some answers at the end, you wait 10 to 15 seconds in between clicks so that they will recognize your response and not assume that you are randomly guessing. All right, tip number 7, make sure you skip any time-consuming questions and save them for last. A couple different types of time-consuming questions that I like to skip for last are logically completes the text or inference questions on Module 2, especially if they're technical science passages. And on the math, I really like to skip those geometry questions on Module 2 that require you to draw out a picture and think outside the box. Those take a long time. So be judicious about when you attack each problem, and please do not feel pressured to go in a linear fashion. All right, tip number 8 isn't necessarily a test-taking tip per se. It's more of a life skills tip, but it will affect your performance on the SAT. So my last and final tip for you is to practice self-care, especially in the week leading up to the test. Make sure you are getting a good night's sleep every night and waking up early. Make sure you're eating healthy and working out. Make sure you're staying hydrated. If you take care of yourself and you feel at the top of your game physically and mentally, you will be at the top of your game cognitively when you go into the test on Saturday. And there you have it. Those are my last minute SAT tips to get you ready for the December test. Please remember, this test does not define you, but if you do your best and hit your goal, it's going to open up doors and opportunities that are absolutely amazing for you. So get some sleep, fuel up, and walk into the test with confidence. Please comment below and let me know what your favorite last minute tip was from this video. Good luck, and I'll see you on the other side of your SAT score report. Bye!